If you don't have little kids at home right now, you probably remember the time in your life when you did, when your children were running around and in constant need of attention. You remember how tiring it was to constantly be on the lookout for what your children were doing, what they were playing with, how they were treating each other, what they needed, what they were asking for. And you probably remember going to bed at the end of the day exhausted. Yet most of you did that faithfully because that's what parents do. Parents are called to serve their children. And then when your children are grown and you are older, it's their turn to serve you, hopefully. Jesus didn't have any children of his own, but he certainly knew what parenting would be like. We hear that as his popularity grew, people were coming to him from all sides. He looked upon them as the flock without the shepherd, sheep without the shepherd. These were the children that were in need. They followed him into the villages where he was staying. They even gathered around the house of Peter and Andrew because they knew that Jesus was there. And we're told that he healed all the sick who came to him well into the evening hours. But at some point, Jesus had to take a break. He had to sleep. He had to eat. He had to pray. That's the one thing he never overlooked. Early in the morning, usually while everyone else was still asleep, he'd rise and go off to a deserted place and spend some time in prayer. Yet, what would happen? People would look for him. And when the disciples found him, they said, "Everybody's searching for you." And of course, everybody was looking for him. There were more sick people that needed healing. But what does Jesus do? He says to them, "Let's go off to the next village." Okay? It's true that Jesus came to serve, but he couldn't spend all of his time in one place. He had to move around to share the good news of God's love and care with as many people as he could. And he himself needed to take a break from time to time. He knew in his own humanity, in order to be a good servant, he needed to take care of his own physical and emotional and spiritual needs. He had to pray. He had to spend time listening to his Father. That's how he got his strength. That's how he received direction in his personal ministry. So even if you don't have children at home anymore, most of you are probably still in the servant mode in some way. You may have to care for an elderly spouse. You may have to watch your grandkids. You may even have to work to make ends meet. But don't forget that you need and you deserve your downtime, time to be renewed and refreshed in spirit. That's done by prayer and rest. When we take time to pray, when we take time for ourselves, it really is an act of humility because we are acknowledging that we are not the true servants. There is one who is the true servant, who ends up doing all the work for us, and that's the Lord Jesus, who cares for other people through us. So we have to be healthy vehicles so that he can continue his ministry.